Hello, welcome to Design Time. I'm Jackie Lacey. Echeveria, or succulents as they're commonly known, have been trending for quite some time. We still see them in almost everything we do. They've come and they have broadened to the point now where really succulents with color is what's the most popular, that people look for to utilize. But any type of succulent is still incredibly popular, both as a potted plant and to insert into your high style designs or into your wedding work. Almost every wedding bouquet that you look at on Pinterest or on any of the wedding sites are going to contain some sort of succulent. It's one of those flowers that today's generation has just really embraced as they have tropical plants and tropical flowers, things like that. When it comes to the succulents, we had someone reach out to us and said, can you just refresh our memory on how to utilize them best to insert into bouquets or into event work? So we're going to look at both. A lot of the times when you order succulents, they're going to come potted like this. This happens to be a 3-inch, which they measure from tip to tip. If you're looking for something for a boutonniere, you want to stay more in that 1-inch size, or if it's something that is personal flowers, i.e. smaller clustered flowers, stick with the 1-inch. The 2-inch, the 3-inch, and then the 4-inch and above are going to be, of course, for your larger event pieces. When you get them in potted like this, a lot of times they can be a little less expensive than coming in a tray where they have already been cut. And really all that has happened is that they've cut it from the plant below. You might end up with some roots, you might not. So it depends on who you get them from and how they're packaged as to what you're going to end up with on the back. When you get the succulents in, let's first talk about storage. One of the best things to do is just to put the entire pot down into very little water. They do not like to sit in water, so you don't want to water them, keep them really damp and moist, because they tend to absorb all of that moisture and they will rot or they'll begin to turn yellow. If you're getting them like this where they've already been cut, a really great way to store them is just to put a sponge in a container, and you can set them right on top of the sponge. That will allow them to drink, and you'll see that they'll start rooting pretty quickly like that. You can also use reindeer moss or green sheet moss, anything like that that absorbs the moisture, holds it in, will provide the moisture to the plant. So either way is a great way to store them until you get ready to use them. Also, when you bring them back in, if you want to reuse them, then you can do the same thing when you get them back in. Now, if you're going to insert them into a bridal bouquet like we've done here, this was just a very traditional bouquet that someone brought in. They wanted it because it was traditional, but yet they wanted to update it a little bit with Echeveria or the succulents like we were talking about. So if you're going to insert them in here, we're going to wire them because succulents do not have very much of a support system underneath or on the bottom. So when you're going to wire them, you're simply going to remove the dirt like this, so that we take all of the dirt off. You want to leave that root system on the bottom because you really need something that you can grab in the tape and hold on to. Now we've removed all of the dirt from around the succulent plant. We're going to use, I prefer like a number 16. You can go a little thinner since we're going to double it, but I like it to be very secure when I'm going to put it in there. Now what I'm going to do is right at the bottom of the plant, or right above the root system, we're going to insert a wire in each direction. This way we know that once we secure it, that we're going to be able to grab the roots in the tape and we'll be able to create that stem like I showed you before. Now you're going to start right at the bottom underneath the plant so that you can clearly grab all of that root system in between all of the wires to hold them in place, and make sure that you don't twist it too fast because you are going to break off some of it. Remember, they're very, very tender, and you want to turn it in your hand as you're pulling on the tape so that you can completely cover it, just like so. So now we've completely covered the succulent. Now it doesn't have to be actually put in when we start, but I did secure these with the longer wire. Now that I've already bound it from the bottom, we're actually going to glue it with just a little bit of the cold glue on the bottom of the wrap that we've got there. This will hold it securely in place when we slip it down in with the other flowers. We're just adding that right on top of the tape there. We're going to separate. We want to kind of balance this out, so this would be a really good place for the succulent to be inserted. And we're going to push until we have it securely where we would like for it to be, and it's secure and in the bouquet. Now, when it comes to adding them into a event centerpiece like this, because it's so wide and large already, you do want to leave them longer. That way you'll be able to make sure that the succulents can be seen. You want them to be in a prominent place. They're going to be one of the most expensive flowers or additions that you've added to this centerpiece, so you want to make sure that you choose so you can see them on either side and add them in to where they can be seen all the way around. You don't want to add this in because you're going to be able to see that pot, but if you did want to leave it potted, you could tuck it down in low like I have here, and it sort of disappears. The key is making sure that you have them secure in the design. One of the things that I tell all of my brides is that because I've left the root system on there, once they've finished up with the bouquet or with the event center, take that back home, take off all that tape and wire, and repot it, and they'll have a wonderful memory from one of the best days of their life. I hope this will help you out when it comes to adding succulents into your event pieces or into your bridal bouquets. If you ever have anything that you would like for us to cover, reach out to us on Facebook. Let us know, because we're happy to add it into our repertoire of videos and subject matter that we cover. Tune in again next time for Design Time. If you enjoyed that video and you'd like to see more, click the subscribe button.